Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today where I am, it is November 16th, 2021. And a few hours ago, the Criterion Collection on its website made its announcement with respect to the releases that it plans to make for the month of February in the year 2022. And so if you want more information about what the Criterion Collection plans to release in February 2022, I strongly encourage you to check out the Criterion Collection website directly for more information, more specific information about what the titles are, little write-ups about what the stories are about, technical specifications, information about special features, planned cover art, designs, etc. And also pricing, recommended pricing that will probably be offered through the Criterion Collection site shop itself, the online shop, as well as pre-order options for a lot of the titles and many other titles as well as information about formatting, etc., the physical media format availability for each of these titles, etc., etc. So this is my way of saying, please check out the Criterion Collection website directly for more detailed information. But if it's okay with you, my friends, let us go through these and just share our thoughts and comments about this particular collection of titles. The first title, scheduled for release, February 1st, 2022. And this is the film from 1956. The filmmaker is Douglas Sirk, and the name of the film is Written on the Wind. This is spine number 96 in the Criterion Collection, and the reason that it is 96 is because it already exists in the Criterion Collection as a DVD during the initial period, the first 100 titles of the Criterion Collection physical media DVD catalog. And so it is a title that is again, it's close to the history of the Criterion Collection DVD days or physical media days, in a manner of speaking. And also it is a really key, important work and a great example of this period of films from Douglas Sirk in the 1950s, and it is a grand drama entertainment indeed. My goodness, this is it's so emotionally powerful. It's overwhelming. It's highly it's charged. It's very entertaining, and there are so many types of turns to it that, again, I think for those who haven't seen it yet, I think you're in for a real surprise and delight when you watch this film, Written on the Wind. And it's got so many great performances. Of course, you've got Lauren Bacall, Rock Hudson, Robert Stack, Dorothy Malone. My goodness, and they all are on these character courses that seem to diverge and then converge, and so when they diverge, but when they converge and intersect, oh my goodness, do they intersect? Sometimes they intersect, sometimes they collide, and sometimes those collisions, those character collisions, can be very much filled with fireworks and passion and emotion, and other times they can be filled with betrayal and misunderstanding and a type of vitriol almost. So this is the stuff, the fireworks, the heart and soul of really exciting and really absorbing human drama. And you've got the great visual palette, the color design, etc., and the music, and everything is it's set up to be this grand dramatic entertainment, and it certainly is. And so, Written on the Wind, we're getting the Blu-ray of this. It already exists as a DVD, but now we're getting a new Blu-ray edition of this. So this is very, very exciting indeed. Now it indicates, or the website indicates, for the Blu-ray, a new 2K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural sound. So this will be my first time to encounter this particular restoration version of Written on the Wind. So I don't know anything about the restoration version, so it'll be very interesting to see how this feels when one watches it. And as we know, just like with, I mean, this can be said about any film, of course, but for example, with Written on the Wind, there's so much emphasis placed on the way that colors are used within the frame, and it's actually a very it's a very delicate and very precise. So it'll be interesting to see how that figures in, because there's also a lot of the psychological linked to the visual palette and the visual style of the work. And so this is going to be something to look out for when we explore the restoration version. And then there are a number of supplements that seem to be indicating that there are some supplements that are for the Blu-ray, and then some supplements are remaining for the DVD. So it looks like there's going to be some distinction to be made there. But we shall see specifically how they compare. And so maybe when the release happens later, in a few months from now, early in 2022, we can do a little bit of a comparison with the earlier version, spine number 96. Again, this is very exciting. Douglas Sirk, I should say too that I'm a big fan of the works of Douglas Sirk, and it's one of my great failings on this YouTube channel that I haven't spoken about the works of Douglas Sirk as much as I really should. I was so fortunate to have seen my first Douglas Sirk works when I was a teenager, and at first I didn't quite know what to make of them, because they were very much not what I was necessarily expecting. And when I was watching these films as just a young teenager, but then growing up and just feeling the types of stories and the weight of the drama on these characters. And now that I'm getting older, I'm becoming more and more attached and transfixed by their stories. And I'm thinking in particular Written on the Wind, and I'm thinking of the stories of each of the characters and how they meet and what it is their relationships are like, and what their relationship is at the beginning versus how it gradually changes, and how those changes lead to different relationships. And this is the stuff of drama. And so I think I've become, as I say, as I've gotten older, I've become even more transfixed by the works of Douglas Sirk, and in particular a work like Written on the Wind. So in any event, I look forward very much to sharing some more thoughts on this film when the Blu-ray arrives next year. So this is Written on the Wind. Next, scheduled for release on February 8th, 2022, and this is the film from 1990, designated spine number 1112. And this is from the filmmakers Joel Cohen and Ethan Cohen. This is Miller's Crossing. Wow, Miller's Crossing is going to be coming to the Criterion Collection. That's really great. And so I haven't spoken that much about the works of the Coen brothers on this channel. Again, another failing of mine. I really apologize for that. But hopefully this new release of Miller's Crossing from Criterion in February will be one way of trying to remedy that to a certain degree. Miller's Crossing, yes, I remember the first time I discovered the Coen brothers' works back in the day when I was again a teenager, and I wasn't able to see these films in the theater, but I caught up with them on physical media rental. And this was before the film Fargo was in the theaters, and so by that time I was very excited, and so I was able to see Fargo in the theaters, and then The Big Lebowski and etc. But before that period, it was discovering the works of the Coen brothers. Again, it was Raising Arizona, and then it was Barton Fink, and then it was the Hudsucker Proxy, etc. And then suddenly, I also found Miller's Crossing, which was, to me, it was this really, I didn't quite know what to make of this one as well when I saw it for the first time. It had this really intriguingly cold and dark quality about it, which was even more enticing and more hypnotizing, in a manner of speaking. I saw all these elements of the period that was being depicted, of the betrayal and double cross, and the mystery about what the agendas of these characters were, what they were trying to do. The Gabriel Byrne character in particular, what the agenda of this particular character, and so there's a lot of mystery and also the allure of the period setting and the way that things were being presented. It had this romantic quality about it, as well as being this cold, dark quality, and so there was this idea of precision and chaos at the same time. And so Miller's Crossing was this kind of huge revelation again when I saw it. And then maybe the rest, as they say, was history. And then my exploration with the Coen brothers' works continued on from there. But I think, therefore, having a work like this, Miller's Crossing, is really great. Because I think in a lot of ways it is such a key work in this period of the works of the Coen brothers, and it holds so much, and also it does provide, I think, certain links and also certain parallels in terms of the types of genre work and the types of nuance and tone that the Coen brothers are able to show in the variety of works that they've shown, even in this period of their work, the first 10 years or so, this early part of their filmography. And so there are links in terms of the type of film noir style we saw in Blood Simple, but then there are also this idea of the quirks or the quirky nature of human nature that maybe tend towards maybe the absurd or the comic, but also lead to a somewhat surreal aspect of observations on life. And I think this too has its links with, there's a certain sense of this, I think, in Miller's Crossing, as well as films like, say, Barton Fink or Raising Arizona, for instance. And sometimes that can tend toward the comic and hilarious, like in, say, Raising Arizona, or maybe it could go towards the dark and surreal, like Barton Fink, or indeed Miller's Crossing as well. So this is my way of trying to say that this film is so key and integral, in my view, in the works of the Coen brothers, and also it is so mesmerizing. It is so mesmerizing, and it remains, I think, very, I think, thought-provoking, as well as, I think, a wonderful example of the style and tone and the approach of the Coen brothers during this period. And also, it's so entertaining, and so it'll be great to see this, as I say, this 2K digital restoration version of Miller's Crossing from the Criterion Collection. Check out the website too. The artwork looks fantastic, so I can't wait to see it up close when it arrives. But I should say too that this is a Blu-ray, one disc Blu-ray. There doesn't seem to be any option as far as 4K or a DVD for that matter, so just keep that in mind as well. But in any event, this is spine number 1112, Miller's Crossing. Next, scheduled for release February 15th, 2022, and this is Spine 1114. This is the film from 1939, Leo McCarey, with Irene Dunne and Charles Boyer. This is Love Affair. Wow, this is such a pleasant surprise. I had no idea, and it says here, a new 4K digital restoration by the Museum of Modern Art and Lobster Films. So, I admit, I don't know anything about the restoration details, so this is going to be a kind of very exciting re-exploration of this film in this version when it arrives in February next year. But Love Affair, wow, what a great film this is. This is such a great. It's delicate, it's tender, it's also very dramatic, and has a sense of almost suspenseful melodrama, which is really entertaining and really absorbing. And it's a type of classic archetype of this classic Hollywood romance story. And it's also been paralleled, I think, in a number of ways subsequent to this. So this is, in many ways, a type of classic tale that is told in this really elegant way, and this very charming, sweet, and very delicate way. And so Love Affair, my goodness. You know, I don't know, I'm not an expert when it comes to the releases, the past prior releases of Love Affair or any of these other films. And so I'm not quite sure. I admit I don't have the details on command right now. But having this work is it's a really nice surprise. I wasn't at all anticipating this, but and looking too at the supplements, it looks like there is a very packed slate of supplemental features, including 2 shorts and also radio adaptations, as well as some new interviews. And this is really wonderful. I think one can begin to identify, and maybe it's been there all along, but in particular I'm getting a sense of it too, that there's a focus by Criterion of late with regard to this type of Golden Age Hollywood works. And so here's another lovely, iconic, and classic example that is arriving here. So I'm really very excited about this. And so thank you very much for this lovely surprise. Again, February 15th, 2022. I should point out that the Criterion website as of now indicates a Blu-ray option and then a DVD option. So you have 2 options here. There is no other format option, so no 4K release of this, but that seems to be okay. I will opt for the Blu-ray option, and we will explore this again when it arrives in February 2022. Really lovely stuff. Check out the website directly for more information, because it looks like it's going to be a real packed release. This is spine number 1114. This is Love Affair. And last, but certainly not least, scheduled for release February 22nd, 2022. And this is for spine number 1113. This is from 1982. The filmmaker is Anne Hui. This is the work which is Boat People. So this is really quite extraordinary. And so this is extraordinary. So, you know, I don't claim to have any skilled expertise when it comes to the cinema of Hong Kong. But that also goes for the works of Hui. However, this film, Boat People, is one that I have seen, and it is very powerful, and it is incredibly it's incredibly long lasting, and it has a certain sense of directness that is undeniable. And I also understand that this is one of the most highly regarded of the works of Hong Kong during the early 1980s, what's often referred to as a type of Hong Kong New Wave. Although it would be interesting to get the discussions, maybe there might be some discussions in the Criterion supplements about how this film figures into the overall context of that. But and I look forward to those discussions as well. But because, as I say, I'm not an expert, and I'm not the biggest scholar when it comes to Hong Kong cinema, but I do know the importance of this work, Boat People, and the works of Anne Hui. And so to have this work like this in the Criterion Collection, this is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. So I know that a number of my friends who are great experts when it comes to the cinema of Hong Kong, they know this work, they know the works of Anne Hui through and through. And so this is, I think, a cause for celebration for everyone concerned. So this is going to be, this is a really powerful film. This is a very, very powerful film indeed. And so I've only seen it on just a very few occasions. And so I don't claim to have all the understandings that I think that this film really deserves, and so I really need to watch it more and more. But this will give me this great opportunity to do so, because, as I say, it is a very powerful work. And also, I should say too that An Hui, her works are getting a lot of, I think, attention, especially in the recent years. And her works overall have been getting a lot of attention. Her complete body of films, which is so impressive. Now, I haven't been able to see all of her works, but I have seen a number of them. And they are very impressive indeed. And so I'm very pleased that this release also seems to be timed so nicely with a type of reinvigorated interest in the whole body of work of An Hui. So this is yet another maybe step in the celebration of her cinema. And it is a very, I think, key work indeed. So this is a really great announcement. So really great announcement. And too, I was mentioning too that this is a type of, another way to look at this release is a type of maybe celebration of the works of Hui, which is, and you look at the supplements, wow. Okay, so there's a conversation with Stanley Kwan about, which I assume it's going to be about the film, maybe specifically Boat People. So that's going to be really good to check out. And also there is As Time Goes By, the 1997 film, and also Keep Rolling, the 2020 work. Now, I have been, I have not seen Keep Rolling, but I have been so wanting to see Keep Rolling, because it's been discussed somewhat recently, again, as part of what I could call this recent type of celebratory atmosphere with regards to the works of An Hui. And another part of that is the release of Keep Rolling. So I have not seen this. I have been dying to see this film, Keep Rolling. And so the fact that it's included here, wow, this is so great. Great. And so this release, Boat People, is shaping up to be a number of things, right? It's shaping up to be a release of a really powerful and important work from An Hui in the context of Hong Kong cinema, and it has certain historical and social implications and context, which are also very key. So it's a very engaging and impactful work. So that's one reason, and then also another reason too is that this release is shaping up to look like another way to celebrate the works of An Hui. So this is wonderful indeed, wonderful news indeed. So I should say too that this is indicated as being a new 4K digital transfer, so that's going to be very interesting to see. Also, we have the physical media format options: a Blu-ray single disc or a DVD 2-disc option. So you have one or the other. Whatever is best for you in your particular setup, please make such consideration as always. I should point out too that there doesn't seem to be any 4K option, but that's okay. Because we still have this available. And as I say, it looks to be shaping up to be a really standout release indeed. Again, for the film and also for the celebration of the filmography of Hui. So. Really wonderful stuff. I'm looking forward to this very much. Again, scheduled for release February 22nd, 2022. Spine number 1113, Boat People. So that is the selection of titles that appear to be the subject of today's announcement from Criterion. So I count 4 titles, and there aren't any 4K offerings at the moment, but I actually think that's okay. I don't think it's an essential aspect that each title have a 4K corresponding option, and I don't think it's necessarily the case that we need to see a 4K title in every month. Some people might disagree with that, but I think Criterion seems to be on a good pace with that sort of format change and format adaptation, as well as focusing in on many of the other things that Criterion seems to be focusing on. And so it seems like they're focusing in on a lot. So in particular, I should say that there is this real, I think, strong trend, which maybe has always been there, but it's getting stronger and stronger, it seems like, in terms of the focus on Hollywood Golden Age films. And also, there has been a type of trend lately, too, about its focus, Criterion's focus on the cinema of Hong Kong as well. So this is really great. And here we have the works of, or An Hui's work as well, being the focus of this. And so this is also a really exciting trend. And I hope this continues. And I know a lot of other people have felt similarly about this. So really, really wonderful indeed. Plus you have, we have another work from Joel Cohen and Ethan Cohen in the Criterion Collection as well. So maybe could we see more Coen Brothers films? That might be interesting. And also the reemergence of the earlier Spine Number 96 Written on the Wind Cirque work. So now maybe one could focus too on the number of titles. Maybe compared to other months it might seem a little bit smaller in quantity. Only 4 titles. It seems like 4 seems still, this is a really significant month in terms of what we're actually getting. But in terms of quantity, yes, I think that is a very reasonable and fair observation to make. Who knows, maybe that might be an indication of something to come. As of now, I should point out that we are already into the announcements. The announcement for January 2022 was made, of course, and now we have the February 2022 announcement. So already we're getting into the titles, into the first period, the first quarter of 2022. If we go by past years, we might begin to start to expect maybe a collector set release or box set release or some kind of event release that might be approaching. And so maybe that might be an indication of, or might have something to do with it. Also maybe February, it's a shorter month, obviously, so maybe that has something to do with it as well, who knows. But in any event, maybe my hunch is that one might begin to expect around maybe the next announcement or maybe in between or something, whatever. Again, I can't read the specific timing of these things, but one might begin to expect maybe that there could be a collector set of box sets sometime down the road very soon. So that might be something to look out for if and when that were to occur. But in the meantime, of course, I do also want to emphasize or re-emphasize just how great this selection is. I seem to say that a lot. I seem to say that it's always a great month. It's always a great month, but it really is. And so I'm just very I'm very impressed, and it's always an exciting time. The middle of the month is always an exciting time for this sort of thing. And so, so I think let's end it there in terms of today's discussion. But we can end it here today. But of course, these discussions about these films and others can continue and hopefully will continue. And I hope that you enjoy many conversation with your family and friends about these and other films. And if ever you want to talk to me about these films, how you feel about this Criterion Collection announcement, etc., always you can feel free to leave a comment below, and I will do my very best to respond, because it's I get a lot of great inspiration, and I get a lot of energy and excitement from your excitement and your enthusiasm, or your takes on these works. And your takes are always head and shoulders above anything that I could ever possibly hope to fathom. And so I'm so grateful to you for always teaching me and always giving me guidance about these and other works. And I could hope that that continues for a long time to come. So if you have any guidance or points or any things at all, any observations you want to make about these or other films, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very, very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.